Hello, everyone. Good morning, and welcome to our podcast on Pygmalion by George Bernard Shaw. Today, we're diving into Act 4, which is the act that showed the birth of an independent spirit in the face of Higgins' bullying superiority. The loosely set up this dichotomy between people and object. In example, whether Higgins treat people like people or object. And to put it more interesting, we will explore show critique on social mobility, identity, and class. Hello, assalamualaikum, and I am Ariff bin Muhammad Kamaramin, and today I am here with Asmieratul Fariz Helmi, Nazhan Shahid, and let's not forget about Ezzarul Faiz.
Hello.
Each of us will discuss different literary elements from the theme to notable scene and see what they reveal about Shaw's messages. I'll add my thought as we go in. So let's go ahead. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, our panel guest for today. I'm honored that all of you can sit and chat with me. So I'll be glad that you guys here right now. I believe that everyone's schedule is in tight for this week. But before we begin, could the guests introduce themselves first and what kind of topic and discussion we will bring to this table today that we will discuss? Miss Wawa, as a gentleman, can I invoke the quote ladies first? You may go ahead.
Okay, greetings everyone. It is an absolute pleasure to be invited here as one of the speakers for today's podcast. Today I'll be talking about the themes in Act 4 of the Pygmalion, and I will also be exploring the themes of identity, self-worth, and also independence. We will see how Eliza, even after changing her speech and manners, grapples with her sense of belonging and also self-worth. I'll dive into deeper on how those themes expose the personal cost of her journey later. Thank you.
Very interesting. The next person?
Hi everyone, I'm Fariz. I'll be exploring simile and metaphor in Act 4. Shaw used this literary device to reveal deeper insight to class prejudice and the way society view Eliza transformation as more of a mask than a true change.
Hello, Faris and Nazahat.
Assalamualaikum and hi, I'm Nazhan and I will be covering symbols in Act 4 of the Pygmalion. I will focus on how symbols like Eliza clothing and also Higgins' phonetic record emphasize Shaw's message about social expectation and individual worth.
And lastly, we have the man itself, Mr. Ezzarul.
Thank you, Osarif. Hello, I'm Ezzarul Faiz. I will be discussing a notable scene, Eliza's confrontations with Higgins. This moment highlights her journey towards self-assertion and the cost of her transformation, underscoring the limitations imposed by the class system.
Wow. I believe that all of you have an interesting point. Now, the audience have known our lovely guests and briefly knowing the point. So, we start with our only lady here. Wawa, the stage is yours. What would you like to talk about?
Alright, thank you so much, Ariff. In this Pygmalion Act 4, it really drives home the theme of identity and self-worth. Eliza's struggles really highlight that Shaw's critique of social mobility as a superficial pursuit. She has learned to speak like a lady, but this hasn't changed her social status. So when she confronts Higgins and says, "What am I fit for? Have you left me for? Where am I to go? What am I to do? And what's to become of me?" This really shows her realizations that her outward transformation hasn't brought her to acceptance that she thought it would.
I agree that light is powerful as it captures her internal conflict. Even with her polished speech, she left wondering where she actually belonged. Being someone outside of the usual spot really make people questioning their whole effort to change because in the end, you're still a mudblood in a pure black community. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe we all relate to this.
Exactly. And I think Shaw's point is that class isn't just about language and also appearance. He also used Eliza's question to show that society doesn't change its perception based on superficial traits alone. But in fact, Eliza's crisis reflects on how the class system is deeply entrenched, making genuine social mobility nearly impossible.
I'd like to jump here because I think show use of metaphor builds on what Wawa has said. In Act 4, there's a recurring metaphor where Higgins called Eliza a creature of habit He treats her like a product of his own skills, not as a person with real autonomy. This metaphor highlight his controlling attitude and reinforce Shaw's critique that society doesn't value people outside their designated role.
Good point, Mr. Faris. There is also a simile that really drives this home when Pickering described Eliza's behavior as being like a mess. This simile reflects that Eliza knew manners and speech are just a covers. She's still seen as a lower class beneath it all. It suggests that her transformation is more of a disguise, not a real, genuine change, which reinforces the limitation of her social mobility.
Very well said, gentlemen. I think the mask might also highlight Eliza's sense of displacement. She doesn't actually feel to fully belong in either class, so she in the right in the middle of the line. Which, if Eliza step wrongly, she can fall into where she begins. I believe everyone in the audience also can relate to that. We have to start in the line.
Yes, and by using this mask idea, Shaw actually shows that society's acceptance is only on surface deep. So no matter how well Eliza is performed, people would still view her through the lens of her origins.
True, and Higgins' attitude really reinforced that, doesn't it? He sees her as an experiment, a creature of habit, and not as someone with her own goal or independence. Shaw used these metaphors to show that true social mobility remained out of reach.
I agree with you all. I'd like to expand on the idea of the super facility using symbols. For instance, Eliza's refined dress in Act 4 symbolizes her new identity, but it feels like a custom, more than an expression of who she really is. This shows the emotional cost of her transformations. She's caught between her old life and her new one, feeling alienated from both.
Definitely, Ezzarul. I believe what you say is true. Her dress might make her look like a lady, but it cannot erase the way society view her, right?
Exactly, Ariff. It's just a symbol of the class expectations placed upon her. Shows uses this to critique how society pressures individuals to change while never fully accepting them. And this symbol is Higgins' phonetic records. These records represent his control over Eliza and her transformations. To him, she is, she is a project, another successful recording in his collection, not a person who can dictate her own life.
Yes, I see that. The phonetic records really highlights how Higgins treats Eliza more as a scientific achievement than as someone with her own voice.
Absolutely. Shaw's use of these symbols reinforce how the class systems values people only when they conform, not when they seek true independence.
I can support what Zaro say is that, and it is best shown in Eliza's confrontation with Higgins. This is a pivotal moment where she demands respect, telling him, "I'm not your experiment." This line captures her desire for agency. It's a turning point as she tries to claim her independence, showing she's no longer content being treated as a mere project under the Professor Higgins.
What does Nazhan say is actually true. But this confrontation also highlights her internal struggle. Even though she is a transfer externally, she left questioning her place in society, right? Assertion here actually reflects her frustration with the limitation of her social mobility. No matter what she receives, she feels displaced.
And it's telling that, even in this moment of assertion, she met with Higgins' indifference. His dismissive response shows Shaw's critique of how society undervalues individuals once they are served a purpose. Eliza's frustration reflects Shaw's argument that class divide aren't easily bridged by outward change alone.
Yeah, right. And Shaw emphasized this with Eliza, feeling of being caught between two worlds. She said her lower class root, but isn't accepted by upper class. It is revealed. the emotional cost of her journey, reinforcing that social mobility is limited and often an illusion. So I give it back to Ariff, the host.
Ariff. Yes, thank you, everyone. It's a really good, interesting point. I believe our time is up, and I believe that is enough. Thank you, everyone. Our discussion really highlights Shaw critique in Act 4, where we cover themes, similes, metaphor, and symbols, and pivotal sense that reveals Shaw's view on the social mobility and class. Eliza's journey exposed the limitation of transforming one's identity to fit social expectation. We see that the true social mobility requires more than surface change. It demands acceptance, which remains elusive. Sean's message is clear. Identity and class aren't just about outward information, they come with the real emotional and social challenge. I believe that is all. Thank you to Wawa, Fariz Helmi, Nazhan Shahir, and our last speaker, Ezzarul Faiz, for sharing such thoughtful insight. And thank you for listener for tuning in. We hope our exploration of Act 4 of Pygmalion give you a new perspective on show message in Pygmalion. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Sabar, tengok dulu.